Okay, this is by special request. Someone asked me to do something about panning, so we're going to do panning. So this is from the original patch book. It's sort of funny to me because this is supposed to be like an educational type of thing, but they make this patch way more complex than it kind of needs to be. But I'm going to break it down for you and show you what's actually essential to this patch. So starting off, we are using the ring modulator as a VCA. I don't know if I've made that clear enough in previous tutorials, but if you have audio going into one side and control voltage going into the other side, the ring modulator acts as a VCA. So that's what I've got set up here. The output of the filters going into the first channel here, and then the one side of the electronic switch is going into the other side. So as we'll recall, the way this switch works is it kind of goes, I've got a signal going into C here, and then left, right, left, right, left, right is kind of how I think of it, but it's A, B, A, B, A, B. And the rate that this switches back and forth is controlled by the sample and hold rate. Okay, so that's the basic setup. What's going on here is the clock is going into the lag processor, and then the output of the lag processor goes into the switch. So that's our input. So what's happening is the clock is setting the switch, basically, and then we're going back and forth, back and forth. So what's happening is, one side of the switch is turning on this note that's coming from the VCF. The other side of the switch is going to the attack release control. So this is kind of like just a substitute for the attack release. It's just clicking on the switch, right? So we're going ring modulator, attack release, ring modulator, attack release, for lack of a better way of putting it. It's just going between the two. The output of the ring modulator is just coming into the left side of the mixer here. So what that does is it sort of creates this left-right situation, because the ring modulator is left, the attack release is right. And as we speed up the sample and hold, we get this left-right stuff happening fast. Now, this isn't very obvious because, for whatever reason, the original patch book has you put the sustain all the way down. So it's fun for plucks, but it's also like you're not hearing what's happening. If we turn the sustain up, you can actually hear it going left and right. Okay, so this is like a workaround because we don't have, a CV input to the pan, so we have to like work around the fact that there isn't one. We have to get audio into either the left or the right. Okay. And you can hear those two sides happening. I hope you are wearing headphones for this, because otherwise this is an extreme disappointment to listen to. So one thing to consider is, it doesn't matter left or right. Both of these are post-reverb. So what happens is you're choosing which side is the dry. And if you get the reverb up high enough, it kind of washes out, so you're not noticing it as much. And all I'm doing is holding a note down on the keyboard. Okay, so for the considerations, we're just using oscillator 1, as you can see here. That's the only thing going into the filter. Not really a requirement, though. So I can use other stuff. We can also, do our normal patching stuff. We could plug the sawtooth into here and bypass the square wave. So it's pretty open-ended. We can also add FM control. This is another thing that's in the original patch book. So it's sort of really obscuring what's actually happening here, because you're hearing pitches going all over the place. Helps to kind of get the noise generator down. Okay, so that's like fun. If we have the sample and hold fast, a little slower. And then you can do, we can have two separate pitches going on. If I do different sample and hold frequency modulation settings in two oscillators, and we can even invert it. We can take this section, take the sample and hold out, and go here and go to the inverter and go in and have the pitches going in separate directions on different oscillators. So there's a lot to play with here, but I hope this makes sense. There's quite a few ways to get panning to happen, but this is the one that's automatic because it's using sample and hold and the switch, and the other ones really make this lack of reverb very obvious, so I tend to avoid those other patchbook examples. So I hope this gives you some ideas.